Herb. Herb is a plant. I mean, herbs are good for everything. Herb.
Welcome to Eugene Cannabis TV. You got your host DanK, and we got our friend Blake that's here, and we're for the DnH Distribution. And if you've seen the show before, you get an idea what's coming. If you haven't, then you really got something to keep an eye on. So get out a pen, a notepad, and something to write on and something to write with, because you're going to be hearing some things that you want to be writing down. So thanks for being here, Blake.
Not a problem. Nice to be here again, DanK. I enjoy the show.
Yeah, and it's been a while, and things are happening in both of our lives and such, but the project is still going forward and finding out more and more uses. And tell me some of the good stuff about what you got. In fact, start from scratch.
This is dimethyl ether. It's not a butane in any way, shape, or form. That's all that's in the can is dimethyl ether. When you're done, the can is totally recyclable. It's a totally legal process in the state of Oregon because it's not a hydrocarbon. It's a so you can free air blast. It also creates a product that nobody out there, well, very few people have ever tried. You've tried some, a couple other people I know that here in the valleys that are making their own at home. It's called DHO, and dimethyl hydrogenated oil. So ask your dispensaries. I just took some down to Genesis Farms, and they're going to start playing with it, and so they could be the first ones in Oregon to be selling DHO at a dispensary. And
That's excellent. Yeah.
Completely different properties. It makes a killer product. Every time you blast something, if it's one kind of plant, makes one kind of product.
Now, and then with the excess, apparently we have a large excess of cannabis available. Yep. So this could work well because you can condense what you have, right?
Oh, you can. Right now in Oregon, you can go down and buy an ounce for $35. Well, with one can of this, you can turn that into about 5 grams of pure THC oil.
Wow. Yeah. Okay.
That's cleaner than anything you can buy in the stores at dispensaries right at this moment.
Yeah. And we've shot some footage of making the oil, and we haven't been able to use it yet. But it's a glass piece. Tell me about the glass piece. In fact, in hindsight, I wish you'd brought it in, but that's all right.
That's okay. It was. I use a glass Pyrex tube. Pyrex glass is the way to go, or stainless steel. Plastic isn't a good idea. Nothing is good made out of plastic. But so that and a glass pie pan, cake pan works pretty good because it's got flat edges that you can scrape the oil off of. Takes about 5 minutes to blast 1 ounce, and takes about 30 minutes for it to evaporate. Then you can. I have a little vacuum pump at home I can put on it for about half an hour, or you can take and put it on a hot plate, warm it up. If you put it on the hot plate, you're flipping the THC because this is a completely cold process, so you never flip the THCA over to psychoactive. So if you're using it for medicine, which I do for arthritis and my headaches, and I eat it, and it's pure, it's clean. I use my own weed, so I know what I grow. I know what I put in. I don't know what they put in at the store. I know if you're going to smoke out of a vape pen, they put the ethylene glycol in it, which is antifreeze. But if you're using butane to make the product and you're thinning it down with antifreeze, you're kind of muting the medical benefit of it, I would think.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, really.
And with this product, it's pure and clean. Yeah,
and the glass piece, it's basically the size of a rolling pin, I would say. Maybe it looks a little bit bigger, but and a heavy, fairly heavy glass, but and it lasts indefinitely, unless you don't drop it off a 2-story building, maybe. But other than that, it's pretty indestructible.
Well, we're gonna be down at the Hemp Fest in Oakland, California here next month.
Okay.
And this year, my product is doing well enough. When I first got into it, I was a vendor. This year, I get to be a sponsor. So please come down. I'll be blasting down there. I'm going to be giving away samples. You can come down, bring your pipe, try it. Nobody's complained yet.
I need to start promoting your event. Do you remember the dates offhand or close?
June 13th, 14th, and 15th.
There you go. Okay.
At the Hemp Fest in Oakland, Oregon.
Yeah, I'll get that in my notes and be talking about that. Great people down there. The main guy, I can't remember his name, but he came to Emerald Empire Hemp Fest one year. Him and his wife, very nice people, and I just never made it to theirs. So maybe this year I can get that dang camper fixed. I would love to go down
I found out about chocolate dill pickles, chocolate covered dill pickles at that festival. Great.
Oh yeah. Well, I don't know about that. I don't like dill pickles in the first place. I don't know, but my favorite vendor, of course, our Ham Fest, I think, was our snow cone vendor.
Yep. Oh yeah, they take care of you.
Well, this one here had a snow cone that was pineapple with some kind of a cream. So, oh my gosh, it was incredible. But anyway, so yeah, well, this is. I was thinking about it on the way into the show, and I was thinking, well, so many people saying that there's so much available nowadays. Well, this is going to be the way to.
Very cost effective.
To condense it
and it was stored forever.
Yeah. Yeah. And you mentioned THCA. Now tell us a little about THCA.
THCA doesn't get you high, but it has good medicinal purposes. When you're using butane and making BHO, you put it in a vacuum oven and you heat it up. So you flip all of the THCA into psychoactive. This doesn't flip that. So you can actually take twice as much THC with only half the side effects of being wiped out, which is really good if you're my mom. She uses it. When she ate Simpson oil, she'd get too high if she ate too much. She can eat a half a gram of this and function just like normal. You can, younger kids or students in school, if you don't want your kid walking around in a zone, or if you're using it, you don't want to be zoned out. So it's quite the neat product. It's brand new to the world, been around for about 4 or 5 years. Over in France, I've shipped this all over the world, by the way. And in France, they won the concentrate contest 2 years running. They are doing live resin pulls with 2-day hanging plants with dimethyl ether and getting a beautiful clear product that's higher in quality than anything else that they're pulling up. So you can go to www.dnh.com and check out some of the videos. There's a lot of information there. It's being studied for medical purposes. They made a micro noodle patch that Tommy Chong is now using. They made some Simpson oil and used dimethyl ether to extract it, and Tommy Chong is also using that. So, because he's fighting cancer right at the moment. So hopefully what they're making will help with what he's doing.
So you get the benefits without the danger.
Yes.
Without blowing up your house or your neighbor's house or your landlord's house.
This is like cooking sherry when it comes to flammability, as opposed to butane being more like gasoline blowing up in your face.
Right. Oh yeah.
And if you come down and see me at the festival, you'll see I'll be pre-air blasting. You'll find out that it's not the danger that butane is. Therefore, that's why it's not restricted and you are allowed to use it at home. And in Oregon, it's legal to make your own medication at home. And this will make something that you know, if you grow your own, you know what you put in the plant, and this leaves absolutely nothing. I've got residual tests and everything on my webpage where they've tested the can after it's been emptied. They've tested the product 2 hours and 12 hours after it's been blasted, and it's residual free. So no heavy metals, safe for pets, plants, and people. I like to think DnH might stand for it does not harm. So if you're thinking about, and it's a green product. It's made from methane, which is always there. So.
Yeah, and being able to be at an event and actually doing it, that is really cool.
Yep.
Because it's like vaporizers. I always said the problem with buying a vaporizer is you don't know what it's like, and you got to buy $300 or $400 to get the,
and
then you don't know. Yeah, so you need to be able to check them out. Well, you can't do that, but with something here, you can actually see it done.
Most all of the head shops, all the glass stores sell tubes. Just go and tell them you want one. You want one made out of Pyrex. That way, like I said, it's easy to clean, sterile. This stuff, by the way, is used for sterilizing hospital equipment and different things. It's a great cleaning agent. kind of a waste. But
And then it was, what was it, steel wool or something you used? Or what
well,
was
yeah,
that?
I use a little wad of steel wool on the top
yeah.
just to defuse it because it blasts in there out of a can. It's under pressure.
Right.
So
Okay,
diffuser
yeah.
with a little bit of
That was it. Okay, I can remember
stainless
it. Yeah,
steel
yeah,
wool.
yeah.
And you want to make sure that it's either stainless steel or Pyrex. And this stuff,
And you get the videos on your website, I think.
yes, I have several videos.
Yeah,
This
there you
stuff
go.
is so safe. I have a video of my mom and my aunt. Both ladies are in the mid-80s, and they're sitting on the back porch blasting and enjoying the day. So it's a safe way to make a better product than you can buy in the store.
Yeah, that's and again, yeah, that's it's a win-win. I'm wondering, is this being used in other states?
Yes, matter of fact, it's all over the United States right now. When I first started, I was the main supplier to the United States. Now the country is divided up into 4 segments, and I run Oregon and Washington. Other people with more ambition run bigger parts of the company, but it's right now all over the world. France, all over Europe, England. I got to learn a lot about shipping hazardous material
I bet. Yeah.
while I was learning to play this game.
Yeah.
But it's everywhere now. It's even on the stock market. So we're here to stay, and it is the best product out there. It was designed specifically for taking oil out of plants, and that's what it does. Better than anything that they accidentally discovered.
So they use it on other stuff besides pot
Well,
plants to do that?
it's used over in Europe. It's already got the FDA approval in the United States and the European Food Safety Association in Europe.
But I'm saying, is there other things other than a pot plant that they
yeah, you can.
do?
I would think that you could use it for scented oils.
That's what I was thinking.
You know, anytime you're trying to take oil out of about anything.
Yeah.
So,
organic matter,
yeah. It will pull the oil out of it, and it takes the terpenes, which is the flavor and the smell. I mean,
I'm thinking we need to try to get a bunch of lavender and see what happens here.
that's what my girlfriend plays with that kind of stuff. So we're just waiting to get a good batch of flowers this spring, and she's going to start playing with different things to see what she can do.
Yeah. Wow, that's great.
But it's a pretty neat product. It was designed specifically for actually takes the terpenes, the oils, the fats, the solids. All those can be used separated. You know, the fats are really good for mixing in with hand creams and whatnot.
Yeah, using it.
Yeah, for
topically,
topical.
yeah.
Yeah, my girlfriend makes a killer hand cream that if your arthritis is bothering you, you can rub that on. And
well, that's what I got some of that from Sean Beeman from Genesis Farms, and I was quite surprised on it. I rub it on, you know, and sitting there watching TV, you know, and I kind of forgot about it, and then a few minutes later, I have to think, hey, wait a minute, my hands aren't hurting anymore.
Yeah.
But it's still stiff. That was weird. I mean, it was just a odd sensation. The pain was gone, but my hands are still stiff. But have you experienced that? Or
well, I eat it. I get up every day and
I
eat a little ball of wax
You're
because
talking about eating it.
I make a lot of videos.
Do you use it topically? Oh, you do use it topically too, though. But you said the main thing is you do.
The main thing is I eat a little chunk of it every day, probably about half a gram. And before I started doing that, my hands were so swollen up. I'm a retired carpenter. I couldn't work anymore. And now they both work. You know, so.
Wow.
And you can tell I have knuckles.
Yeah.
If you're an adult who enjoys a good beer, there's a similar product you might want to know about. One without all the calories and serious health problems. Less toxic so it doesn't cause hangovers or overdose deaths, and it's not linked to violence or reckless behavior. Marijuana. Less harmful than alcohol, and time to treat it that way. For more information, visit marijuanaissafer.org.
Welcome back to the second half of episode 707. You got DanK here and our friend Blake, and we've been talking about the That's, oh yeah, MZ12X. I always sound like a rocket or something, you know.
I'm not sure what it all stands for. The 12X is 12 times refined.
Okay. Oh, okay. Yeah. So anyway, this is a great way to use up your cannabis and condense it and come up with this product that's both safe, pure, and very effective. I wanted a quick minute story here I want to cover. This is really exciting. I came across this on the normal.org website in April dated April 11th this year, and it's a report saying that THC limits is not correlated to driving impairment. That's something that, well, I was just said for years, and but anyway, it says in Lansing, Michigan, the presence of THC in blood is not correlated with driving performance and is not a reliable indicator of psychomotor impairment, according to the recommendations made by a state-appointed traffic safety task force. A report issued by the Michigan Impaired Driving Safety Commission finds that peak THC blood levels are not associated with maximum behavioral impairment, and further finds that the compound's influence upon driving and performance varies significantly among individual consumers. As a result, the Commission recommends against the establishment of a threshold of Delta-9 THC bodily content for determining driving impairment, and instead recommends the use of roadside severity tests to determine whether a driver is impaired. The Commission's recommendations are similar to those previously issued by the American Automobile Association, the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, and other traffic safety experts who have similarly opened against the imposition of per se thresholds for the presence of THC. Normal, similarly, which is the National Organization for the Reform of Marijuana Laws, similarly argues that the identification of THC in blood is a poor predictor of either recent cannabis exposure or impaired performance. The Commission's report further opines that subjects influenced by cannabis typically drive slower, keep greater following distances, and take slower risks than when sober. They add, while there is some uncertainty as to the crash risk associated with cannabis impairment alone, the research is clear that the risk is lower than that of alcohol impairment. 5 states, Montana, Nevada, Ohio, Pennsylvania, and Washington, impose various per se limits for the detection of specific amounts of THC in blood, while 11 states, Arizona, Delaware, Georgia, Illinois, Indiana, Iowa, Michigan, Oklahoma, Rhode Island, Utah, and Wisconsin, impose zero tolerance per se standard. In those states, it is a criminal violation of the traffic safety laws to operate a motor vehicle with detectable levels of THC in blood. Colorado law infers direct impairment in instances where THC is detected in blood at levels of 5 nanograms or higher. So that 5 nanograms has been an issue for years. I remember reading other stories on that because that's an arbitrary number that there's no documentation.
Well, that's what they just said. There's no proof, and one person driving might not be affected. And I can remember back when I was younger, man, a cop pulled me over asking me how fast I was going. I told him, I don't know, maybe 60. He told me 17 miles an hour. 2 o'clock in the morning, and I was about home, but yeah, it wasn't. You don't go racing around when you're smoke pot and you drive. No. Well, yeah, I said we, the truck driver, you know, we used to argue about that all the time, you know, and they always call pot as a gateway drug to other drugs, and actually it's a gate exit. Out. It's exit. Yes, yeah. It's an exit to the other drugs, and. But anyway, I could talk stories about driving truck and drugs all the rest of the show, but we don't want to get into that. We were also talking about growing season. It's growing season now. It's time to start.
And yes, something I just thought we need to work on. There's a video that we have from a friend named Sean Fleury that did a great video on a simple grow, talking about what you need to put in your soil, how to mix it. The mixing alone just tickled me. He said you get a kid's wading pool, you know, those plastic wading pools. You dump your contents in that and then use a hoe and stir it up, and that's how you mix it. That's how you get all your stuff mixed.
Everything,
but anyway, growing it, you know, I always like to say, they call it a weed, you know. It's because you can't hardly kill it.
No, you can't. Believe me,
and if you do,
I've had some experiences.
Yeah, and if you actually do very simply a couple of things, you would be amazed what will happen. I went through this myself. I did one grow myself. I had a good friend of mine that told me what to do, and I followed the way he said exactly, and it was amazing. Different plants grew at different rates. It was just interesting, but wow.
Yeah. I grew one a couple years ago that grew every color in the rainbow. It was red, green, purple. While it was growing, before it started to bud out, it only got about that tall, but then I had some Hawaiian seeds that cleared the top of my 14-foot shop. You know? So.
Yeah, I had two of them were called cherry pie. They never got more than 3 feet high, but they were like 4 feet in diameter, and they were just bushes.
Yeah.
But it was quite an experience, and it was a lot of fun. So there's a lot of videos out there about doing that, but Blake, I wanted you to give your comments on some tips and stuff.
Yeah, well, like you said, you know, get your blend together good, dig a nice hole. I go about 3 feet around and 3 feet deep, and I put one plant in it, and I do real well on every one of them that I pull up.
Yeah. When I did mine, he said get 1 part steer manure, 1 part steer manure, 1 part green sand, which means not ocean sand. It means sand and no salt in it. And then let's see, what was it? I'm losing it. Oh, compost. Just compost. Those 3 items, and we rented a whole auger.
Yep.
And drilled, and dug a 3 foot, or I don't know, 2.5, 3 foot hole for each plant, and then filled that up with the mix.
Yep.
And then also rototill. That's the other thing that he told me, is that they have roots that go down, and then they also have roots that go this way. So you need to rototill the whole surface too.
Yeah, you want about a foot of loose soil on top.
Yeah, so we did that.
And a nice deep hole for the roots to grow into.
And boy, I'll tell you, it was fascinating. In fact, I had 2 of them that grew so well that the branches broke. You know, so
I hope mine do that every year. I started building wire cages. I took some hog wire, built some cages about that tall. I put it around the plant when it's about 3 feet tall. That way, when the branches grow up and go through it, when they get heavy, which I've been lucky, knock on wood, that, you know, you don't break the branches off and lose your bud right there to the last little bit.
Oh yeah, and then watching for them to be ready for harvest was an excitement too. You know, I never really understood that until I went through it, and then I thought, wow, you got your little microscope thingy, and you look at your little beads of resin, and when they start turning that gold color, and
well, with today's cameras on your cell phone, I just walk up to my bud, put my phone right there, take a picture. I don't have to break out my little magnifying glass anymore. Because you can blow them up and they look like raindrops. The day they start to change, take them out.
I had enough canopies that I could, because I was growing in a 100-foot spot, you know, so I was long and narrow, you know. So I took 3 of those carport canopies end to end, and then covered them in 1 piece of plastic. And I put that plastic over the thing by myself.
Not easy.
No, and then I had it tied down in a really a great way, into where twice I was able to do it from one side, pull the whole thing over, and let it get out in the sun. And then when the weather got bad, I pulled it back over. I did that twice, and by myself. I was really proud of that one, you know. But it was.
Most pride does when you sit down and you plant that big sugar bud at the end of the season.
Well, you know, the funny thing,
you did it yourself.
Well, the funny thing was too, right at harvest time, you know, I realized, I'm thinking about they're going to have a lot of pot. When it came time to harvest, I was blown. Oh my gosh, I never seen anything like this before.
Yeah, it takes a long time to clean it all up.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah. And but it was
and it's all legal now. You don't have to. Experience. Back in the day, you had to worry about the cops or your neighbors.
I could.
Nowadays, well, the cops frequent my neighborhood every once in a while, and I love it when they come by the house and talk to me, because my plants are right there where they can't miss them.
Yeah, I've been more than once, and I was concerned about the helicopter that was flying over. So, you know, and I love airplanes, but that one, I didn't like to see that helicopter, and it made me nervous. You know?
Well, I used to live up around Deadwood and Indian Creek, and they used to get flown by a lot of people.
Oh, yeah, I'll bet. Yeah, yeah.
But-
Yeah, well, like I said, it's legal now, and that's
That's a great benefit.
it really is. Of course, now the biggest problem now it's not law, it's neighbors.
Yeah. Yeah.
People ripping you off. That's the biggest dangers. A friend of mine had her greenhouse collapsed because of the snow.
Yeah.
She had this beautiful, almost a Quonset hut type of a thing, you know, and very well done. And about 60 feet wide, you know, 20 feet wide, 20 by 60 or something like that. Anyway, it brought it clear down the ground. So now we're having to help her reconstruct it and build it back up again. But it's built with that cattle fencing. What do you call that?
Heavy.
The panels.
Yeah.
It's built with those on the inside, and they're hog ringed together. So nobody, so somebody can't cut through and get in. You know.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, because it's you know, security. That's the biggest thing of this nowadays is being ripped off.
Yeah. Yeah, when the last month of grow season, I
Yeah.
don't get to go anywhere.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
It's stay at home,
Yep, yeah.
sleep in my tent.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's where you need a good guard dog or two.
Yep,
who
I
can
got
go in to
those
help.
too.
So, organic burglar alarms.
And just so you know, I don't have any lead in my shotgun. I have it full of rock salt. Won't kill you, but you'll cry all the way to the doctor's office.
That's an idea. I hadn't thought about that.
Well, it's not
Yeah.
not a deadly weapon. If you take the lead out,
Yeah.
you put salt in there, it's a weapon of trying to stop people from coming forward.
Okay.
So,
Wow.
And you, from here to that camera right there, you won't kill a man with it. You'll just
Oh yeah.
make him hurt.
Oh boy, I can only imagine. Yeah. Wow. Yeah, that's interesting. I knew about rock salt, but I hadn't really thought about it in that aspect. But anyway, so
I
you
found
know,
out when I was a child how well that works.
Wow. See, I told you, bring a pencil and paper. You're going to learn something today.
There you go.
Well, I appreciate you coming on the show once again, Blake. And
It's been fun.
if anybody wants information about that, check out his website, and he'll help you out. Blake was at our Hamfest and did the oil that one year,
Yep.
and that was very, very impressive. And I really enjoy being able to educate the public and let people know how things are working. So
Yep, and about the new products that are coming out.
excellent. Yes.
And remember, it's DHO. Ask for it when you go to a dispensary, and they will start making it for you.
DnH Distribution.
Does no harm.
Okay, that's
And you can
all.
look us up on the
Distribution.
website.
Yeah, there you go. We'll see you next week. We'll be here. Hope you will be too.